Hey, welcome to the Freeze Dry Business Channel. Have you ever wondered why certain candies that have chocolate in it just don't freeze dry well? In today's video, I'm going to share with you a candy that does have chocolate in it and it does freeze dry well, and it is one of my top sellers for my freeze dry business, and you should add it too. Let's get started. Hey, welcome back to the Freeze Dry Business Channel. My name is David. I run a freeze dry business in Idaho. If you're running a freeze dry business or you want to start one, this channel's for you. I'm trying to connect the freeze dry business community with the tools and resources needed to grow a sustainable business, and that's what these videos are all about. Now, I've been absent for a couple of weeks. Reason being, I do have a full-time job on top of this side hustle business that I'm trying to grow, and so sometimes that just gets in the way of video production and things that I need to get done. In today's video, we're going to be doing Charleston Chews. This is one of my top 20 selling freeze-dried items that I have. If you want to check out that video, it's on my channel. Usually chocolate doesn't freeze dry well. It doesn't have much moisture, so really it just ends up melting. But like caramel M&Ms and Milk Duds, the caramel that is inside the chocolate, when you freeze dry it, that actually allows it to have kind of that popping texture, and then you're able to maybe like put it into the freezer and that candy is able to harden up and the chocolate doesn't melt right away. Now, if you're not familiar with the Charleston Chew, this is one of the more expensive type of candies that you're going to purchase because they don't sell these in bulk like they do at other types of stores like Costco and things like that. So you're really going to have to go onto Amazon. I've got a link in the description to buy Charleston Chew. Now, this is a 30-ounce bag. It has about 120 of the Charleston Chews in these little wrappers. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to kind of quickly unwrap it as best as I can. I'll cut it for you. I'll show the different sizes that I cut them in. Up until this video, I've only done this size of the Charleston Chews with the wrappers, but I found that through some of the forums, a lot of people are liking these Charleston Chews rollers because they're just little balls and you can put them on the tray. There's no unwrapping or anything of that type of nature. So I'm going to do in this video both the rollers for the first time, and then I'm also going to do the Charleston Chews with the wrappers. So let's talk about the freeze dryer settings. I usually don't change up the temperatures too much above 140 degrees or so. So I'm going to press customize because I've got the latest software with Candy Mode. I'm going to increase the drying temperature to 140, and then I'm going to do the extra dry time. That's the time that it's actually going to do the freeze drying for the candy. I'm going to set it to 3 hours this time. Now, here's the hint about Charleston Chews. It does have chocolate in it. So if you take it out too early when it's at that 140 degrees or even around 100 degrees, once it's finished with its cycle, you're going to still have it be melty, and it's going to have probability of it melting with it in your bucket and in your bags. So what I found best with Charleston Chews is I leave it in the freeze dryer, or I take it out and put it in the freezer, all the trays, and let it freeze over, and then I store it in my buckets or immediately bag it. So that's my tip for you, is don't take it out immediately, and if you do, put it in the freezer, all those trays, so that the chocolate hardens up and then you have an intact Charleston Chews, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so for the prep tools and everything that you're gonna need for Charleston Chews is really simple. All I've got is a knife because we're gonna take the wrappers and we're gonna cut those. So what I'm gonna do for these rollers for the first time is, I knew that they came in little balls, so rather than pour them all on the tray and have them scatter about on the tray and have them all maybe touch, is I'm gonna put them all in these different molds. This is the Harvest Right tray molds that you can buy on the website. I've got a link in the description of this video if you want to buy these molds. So I got every single ball on one tray with the tray molds. That's pretty nifty. I had 3 left. All right, so now we're gonna do the Charleston Chews that have wrappers on them. Now I'm gonna put gloves on. The chocolate and everything just gets sticky over time, and it ends up just getting a mess on my hand. I did pre-freeze, and I put my Charleston Chews bags in the freezer. Now the reason being is because over time that I've done this, if it's at room temperature or whatever, it just adds a little bit more of a stickiness to the wrapper. So when you freeze it though, I found that the wrappers come apart more easily, and again, it's about speed and efficiency when it comes to freeze drying as a business and cutting these candies. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these in half, and then I'm also going to cut them in thirds, because there's just different types of bite-sized pieces that you want to choose for your customers. With different candies in your freeze-dried business, the reason we're cutting them in different sizes is because if you were going to create your own candies, you wouldn't want them to be just gigantic, right? I mean, the Jolly Ranchers are really fun if you do them in their full size, but it's not manageable to put them into a bag to sell. So that's why we're going to do more of the smaller pieces, and we're going to make them more bite-sized. I'm going to unwrap all of these Charleston Chews, and then I'm going to put the chocolate on here that's unwrapped, and then we'll arrange it on the tray so you can kind of see how many you can put on the tray. As you can see here, I'm literally pushing up and it gets out the chocolate without it sticking. And again, you saw that it didn't stick to this wrapper, and that's because I pre-froze it. This is the tedious part about freeze drying as a business, especially if you're going to do candy like this. It's a lot of fun freeze drying, but it does take time to prepare all of this candy. You have to cut it, you have to arrange it. It just takes time. Now, is it worth it? Absolutely, because if you're doing it as a side hustle, you know, hey, you know, you don't have huge amounts of overhead. You can kind of price the way you want to. But as soon as you start getting into wholesale and you have people asking for bulk items, things like that, you got to figure out your margins. You got to figure out how much time you're going to dedicate to doing stuff like this. And I only do these Charleston Chews really maybe once a month, and I just do a couple of these bags like you're seeing here. Okay, so let's take a look at this tray and let's see what the arrangement is. Okay, so we've got 6, and then let's calculate how much we got down in another row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 6 times 12, I'm not a math whiz, but it is 72. So we've got 72 half pieces in here. So that's 36 individual Charleston Chews that we cut. So you need to have 36 on here. Let's do 120, because that's 120 in the bag divided by 36 is 3. So we can actually do 3 trays, 3 1/4 trays of Charleston Chews out of 120 count, plus we've already got the one in the rollers. So for the purposes of this video, I just wanted to show you the arrangement of this. Now do them cut in thirds. Okay, cool. So let's count these up right now. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so 7 right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Gonna get my handy calculator out on my phone. 13 times 7. So we got 91 pieces on here. 91 divided by 3. Again, 30 pieces that we did here. All right, so we've got 3 trays in the freeze dryer. So now I'm gonna do the next 2 off camera, and then we'll check the freeze dryer once it's all done. All right, the Charleston Chews are done. Now what I did is I actually ran this overnight. So I let it chill all the way down to about -20 degrees. And so I'm just warming the trays. I'm not gonna warm it very much. I'm just gonna warm it to about maybe 0 degrees or so, just so it's not super cold when I take it out of the freeze dryer. And then we'll take a look at the finished product. All right, let's take a look at the Charleston Chews. This is what I love about this Charleston Chews. Now look at this, this puffs up. This was the cut in half size. As you can see, the chocolate, once you freeze it, it actually doesn't melt and things. So that's why I say you gotta make sure you freeze it either in the freezer or just let the freeze dryer freeze it back. Let's see what these Charleston Chews rollers did. Wow, that's awesome. Look at that. Yeah, basically turned out about the same size as some of the thirds that we did for the Charleston Chews. So awesome, let's take it out. Now this is what's so great about the Charleston Chews is the texture has changed. The chocolate is now not melted. It's all around the marshmallowy type of candy. It literally is just like a vanilla marshmallowy like Whopper. That's how I would describe it. Now, I chose to do these molds because with the rollers, I just didn't want it rolling around and then touching each individual piece. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of pop these out, and I'm just gonna put them back on the tray. As I'm seeing right here, and I don't know if you can see this from the angle here, I'll zoom in a little bit. It's definitely kind of creating a little bit of breakage, if that's even a word. So it's kind of popping out as I'm popping out the silicone mold here. So it's definitely kind of crumbling the Charleston Chews. Not really liking this. So you're kind of seeing this for the first time. So my thought process of like, you know, hey, making this individual, it may not have been the best idea. I'm not really liking, to be honest, because it's just taking more time for me to get these open. And what I would recommend based on this first experience, because this is the first time that I did the Charleston Chews rollers, I would not use these mats because I don't like how it's kind of crumbling the product, and therefore I'm not going to package it because it just doesn't look right. Hey, thanks for watching another video. I'll keep it short and sweet. Hit the like button if you like the content from this video and it helped you understand how to do Charleston Chews. And if you want to join the community of freeze-dried business owners, I'd love for you to subscribe. That way you get notified of future videos, and you also kind of just build a community. And comment on my videos. Let me know what you're doing. Let me know what other videos I could be doing for you to help you out this whole rest of the year. Have a great rest of the month. We'll see you again next time.